Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Sunday English Show. It is a very special show because I'm going to interview a lot of great teachers in this video, in this show tonight. It's going to be very busy. First, it's coming on. We're going to have James, the best IELTS teacher in the world. He's going to be here in just a minute. And then after James, we're going to have the A to Z English podcast gang. All three teachers will be here, so they will come in about 20 minutes. But for the first part, we'll have James. And before we get to James, remember, please consider being a channel member. You can join in the link below. And of course, join our WhatsApp group. The link is below too. So let's get to James here. Let's bring him in.
Hello, Rob.
Hello, James. Welcome to this is the Sunday English Show, and I'm very happy that you are here to talk about IELTS. So, very quickly, can you just introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is James. I run a YouTube channel called IELTS Insider. We also have a website, and basically the premise of IELTS Insider is to provide high quality lessons, high quality material to not only people that are wanting to take the IELTS test, but generally people who have an interest in English and improving academically, and generally just providing as much material as we can.
And what is the IELTS test like? What kind of English student needs to take the IELTS test?
There's a lot of different reasons people take the test. So it started in 1980, so it's quite an old test. It's accepted by governments all around the world. So if you're looking for a visa, it can be used in the requirements for visas for the UK, US, Canada, New Zealand. Also, if you would like to study abroad in English-speaking countries and some non-English speaking countries, IELTS is a requirement. So you cannot enter a course unless you have the required IELTS score. It's also useful for people who just want to improve their general English. Yeah, a lot of different reasons why people would take the IELTS test.
All right. And how long have you been teaching IELTS?
On and off, 6-7 years, I think. So along with other test procedures, I've taught other similar tests as well. I've taught the TOEFL test and TOEIC speaking. But yeah, about 6 or 7 years. Yeah.
All right. So the website and YouTube channel, IELTS Insider. I'm checking the chat here. A lot of people say hello, James. We're not going to look at every message for the hellos, but I will focus on a few questions here. Pallavi's asking, teacher, if I want to learn IELTS, what should I start first?
Well, that's a good question, Pallavi. I suppose if you're brand new to IELTS, think about what you are strongest at in English. I think that's always a good place to start. So if your reading is strong, have a look at some IELTS materials on reading and see where your level is at with that. But it's a 4-discipline test, Pallavi. So you're going to have to look at everything. But I suppose a good place to start would be maybe to look at some mock tests that would give you some examples of the types of questions that you would expect and the types of text that were being used. So yeah, I think that's always a good starting point. Learn about the test and look at some sample tests that are out there.
Yeah, it's not just about knowing English, but you also have to know how to take that test and
Yeah.
practice that with the mock tests.
Mhm.
Layla's asking James, in case I decided to take an IELTS exam, how long should I study before the exam?
Well, that's another very good question, Layla. And there's not an easy answer to this. So it depends on a lot of things. First of all, what is your English ability, your English proficiency now? Secondly, what is the target score you have on IELTS, and how far away do you think you are from that score? So it I would say it's never a short time. People that I know that are studying IELTS, some people have been going for years. Some people maybe don't need as much as that. They're 6 months to a year, but it's certainly not a short-term thing, Layla. You're going to have to study for quite a lot of time before you do it. The amount of time really depends on your current ability and the ability that you need to reach to get the score that you want. So yeah, no easy answer, but I hope that has given you some insight.
Yes. And Sleepwalker is asking James, is it possible to take all four parts of the IELTS test on the same day?
Well, I've never heard of this happening. The main reason for this being that the speaking test on IELTS is a face to face. You have to physically be with the other person. So I think it's maybe possible. I've just never heard of it. Usually, you would do the three sections: writing, reading, and listening on one day. And then either within, I think it's usually within 10 days before or 10 days after, you would have the speaking part. So, yeah, I'm not going to say it's impossible to take all four parts in one day, but I think it would
I,
be very
I
difficult.
think it's safe to say that most test centers do split that into
Yeah,
different days.
yeah, they would have to. It would be too difficult to schedule, I think. Yeah.
Layla has another question here. What types of articles should I read for studying the IELTS exam?
That's another very good question. And I think the big thing here, Layla, is variety. So there are developing your everyday reading skills is great for IELTS because it increases your speed of reading. So websites like BBC websites, CNN, anything that covers a wide variety of topics is always a good starting point for reading. But also, it's important to look at maybe specific topics as well. So the IELTS reading exam will focus on more academic topics. So whereas it's good to get a rounded knowledge of many subjects, it's also good to try and read more specific articles, maybe scientific articles or political articles. Again, you can find a lot of these types of articles on places like CNN, BBC. You can also look at kind of specialist websites for those specific topics. So, yeah, the big thing for me is, although it does depend on what you read, it's the amount. The more that you can read, the more your reading skills will be sharpened, the more vocabulary you will learn as well.
Okay. And Baya, yes, Susam. Hello, Robin and James. How can I sound like a native speaker?
Well, I would first ask the question, why do you want to sound like a native speaker? But yeah, um, I suppose if you really want to sound like a native speaker, listening, try to mimic what you're hearing. There's a lot of great TV shows that are streaming online, podcasts. Listen to the intonation that people use. Listen to their pronunciation of specific words, and see if you can mimic that. But as I said, I don't think speaking like a native speaker is the most important thing. I think speaking in your natural voice can be good as long as you're clear and your pronunciation is easy to understand.
I would agree with that 100%. Okay. And let's see. We have a lot of questions here. We'll try to get to most of the questions. Naz Neen Deep, some quick tips for writing.
Okay.
How can they improve their writing, James?
Write every day. That's it. Keep a diary is a great way. I always find keeping a diary is a great way to practice your past tense. And when you're writing, the simple past tense is used so often. So write a diary every day is a great tip. Another good thing is when you learn new vocabulary, write it down. Write some sentences, make a paragraph using that new vocabulary. That can be a great way to practice writing. But like with most things in language learning, Nazneen, it's all about practice. If you can get into a routine of writing every day, you will notice you will improve over time. It'll be a gradual improvement, but there will be a big difference.
I would add to that, as cell phones are everywhere, or mobile phones, a lot more people are just writing with their thumbs. And
Mm,
that's not enough for IELTS. You got to either be typing on a keyboard or writing with a pen.
yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. Typing on a keyboard and typing on a phone are two different experiences.
But I have seen people writing essays with their thumbs, and I'm like, okay. Here we go. Which channel is best for IELTS preparation?
Which channel is best? Well,
Yeah.
there's only one channel you should be going to, Sandeep, and that is IELTS Insider.
IELTS Insider.
Yeah,
That's on YouTube, and that's also the website, IELTSinsider.com.
yeah.
So you teach there. How often do you have a live stream yourself there?
It varies. So over the summer, we were doing about 3 live streams a week. Um, just now, we're doing 1 to 2 live streams a week on the channel, but there is a lot of other content that is going to be coming up in the next few months. So yeah, we will continue with the live streams there, but the other content that comes onto the YouTube channel is going to be really useful for preparing for the IELTS test.
And of course, you can find a link to the channel in the description of this video.
Yeah.
We have King Thazin Mo. Hello, James. Could you please tell me how to improve speaking skill?
So it's quite a general question here, because without knowing which parts of speaking you're wanting to improve most, but like I said with writing, one way to improve is practice as much as you can. Now, that could be practicing face to face with other people. It can be practicing online. Maybe you've got some online groups where you can chat to people. And if those options are not available to you, try recording your own voice and speaking, looking back at what you've said. Try to identify any problem sounds. Try to work on your fluency over time as well. So yeah, I think with speaking is probably the most difficult thing to practice, because you either need a partner or you need the ability to record your voice. But again, try to get into some good habits. Try to speak every day if you can. Also, try to analyze what you have said afterwards. Try to identify any problem areas that you may have. I think that's a great starting point for improving your speaking skills.
All right. Thank you, James from IELTS Insider. If you want to see more of James, please visit his YouTube channel, IELTS Insider. The link is below. Again, thank you very much, James, for your time.
Thank you very much, Robin, and I hope you have a great stream.
Okay, thank you. All right, so that was James. Thanks. I'm sorry if you had a lot of questions for James. Go to IELTS Insider, ask him there. I am going to bring on the A to Z English podcast group. Let's start. They are waiting to come in. I think I'll just add Kevin here and So Chill. Hello. Should we add Jack?
I'll make him wait. He's okay.
Make a wait. Well, let's bring him in.
All
All right.
right.
Finally
Hello,
released
everyone.
from StreamYard prison. Thank you.
All right. If you have any questions for this podcast team, start typing them. And who's going to introduce who you are and what you do?
Kev, you're the intro guy.
I guess that is what I do. So Jack down below me, So Chill down here, and I am
Jack. Okay, your name is
Mine.
no, the whole. Okay, down. What's your name? There
Social.
we go. Okay, we got
Social.
everyone's name. So Chill.
Kevin.
Kevin and Jack.
Kevin,
All
and
we got
give me a
Jack.
point. Jack, there we
we-
go.
we are the A to Z English podcast hosts. And I was just watching you talk to James not too long ago, and he's working on IELTS tests, which is fantastic. Because we're a podcast, we primarily focus on listening and speaking skills, not so much testing skills. Everything is important, of course, but we're a podcast, so you can listen to us on your commute on the subway or driving or doing your laundry or any time that you want.
Very quickly, can you explain what a podcast is and why English students should listen? Can you explain that in a little more detail?
Do you want to do that, Jack? You're the
Yeah, sure.
podcast guy.
I'm crazy about podcasts. I love
You
them.
are.
So a podcast is very similar to a radio program, except
Yep.
the difference is that a podcast is something that you can listen to it online, so you can stream it, or you can download the file and you can just listen to it anytime. But it's basically the same as a radio program. It's just that you can listen to it anytime, 24/7, anytime you want to, from any place that you have an internet connection. And if you don't have an internet connection, just download the file and then you can listen to it without internet.
Yeah.
Okay. And I should say there is a link to the A to Z English podcast below this video in the description. You can go there after. I listen to their podcast multiple times a week. How many times a week do you release a new episode?
So we try to release 3 a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, very early Monday morning, Wednesday morning, and Friday morning, so that we can catch our listeners on their morning commute to the office or wherever they're going.
And what kind of podcasts are like what is the topic you're doing these days or you're focusing on, or is each episode different during the week?
Yeah, I'll kick this over to Sochil. Maybe you could talk about the 2 episodes that we just recorded today.
Yeah, we did one on idioms and we also did a quick chat. So usually I would say we usually do like a grammar-based one, which Kev and Jack take care of because they have more experience teaching English than I do.
Sure.
We do an idioms one, which is kind of a toss-up between who and as you said, Robin, the idioms are like what'd you say? Infinity, something about the Avengers. Anyway, yeah, it's just infinite. It's nice to like be able to bounce
Metaverse,
off
maybe?
of each other because a lot of us have like different understanding or multiple understandings of an idiom, right? So those are really fun. And then we also do quick chats, which are just about any topic that we come up with. And it's a good way to help listeners build their vocabulary and kind of listen to a natural English speaking environment.
All right. And we do have a question from Layla. What are the difficulties that you are still encountering with the podcast episodes? Are you having difficulties making these?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Layla's got some inside information. No, I think I think it's going pretty well. Kev, what do you think? Are there any problems that we've encountered?
In terms of just making the episodes, I think the hardest thing is getting them to people, and always thinking of topics, of
Mhm.
course. And with the quick chats and grammar, and we do our best to think of topics that people would be interested in listening to, or common grammar mistakes that listeners or learners would have. And so, as always, for everyone out there, if there's something that you want us to talk about, let us know. We're happy to talk about anything. But that's always the difficult thing. What should we talk about today? Once we have a
And
topic,
Yeah.
we're very good at talking.
Especially for a quick chat.
they tell you? How can they give you feedback? And is there any way for them to talk to you directly?
Oh, 100%. So you can go to our WhatsApp group, the A to Z English Podcast,
There's
and
the link below.
the link is below. We have a Facebook page, so you can leave a message in Facebook. You can leave a comment right on our website. So if you find an episode that you enjoy, you can leave a comment there. You can leave a comment in YouTube, and we even have a Telegram as well. So
And we have an Instagram, which I'm in charge
thank
of.
you.
Oh,
Yes.
Yes.
Instagram.
All the social
That's
media.
Yep.
Plave teachers, why do you think that podcast will help us to learn English?
Well, I don't think. Sorry, go ahead, Sochel.
I was just going to say, I think it's a really great way for listeners to get in on a natural English speaking conversation. I've noticed in our WhatsApp group that a lot of our listeners have talked about how different English sounds to them when it's a bunch of native speakers speaking together. So I do think that it's a lot of practice, and they can pick up natural forms of speech like the idioms and grammar and just natural speaking patterns. So I think that that's really helpful. On top of that, Jack always tries to make transcripts and things so they can pick up vocabulary and other resources. Jack, do you want to talk more about that maybe?
Sure. So if you go to our website, there's always a transcript with some kind of not assignment, but a little bit of something that you can do. So for our idioms episodes, we ask our students to use the 3 idioms from the episode in sentences, and then you can put those sentences into the WhatsApp group, and we'll read them and give you some feedback on those sentences. For our quick chat episodes that are just about random topics that we think are interesting, we will ask some more open-ended questions where students can just share their experiences with that topic, and some vocabulary as well that they can learn that's from that episode. So yeah, lots of ways to kind of interact with our podcast that goes beyond just listening to it.
Kevin, there is a question on the screen there. I want you to answer this. Who is the most active of you, and who's the most lazy about doing podcast episodes?
Sochel seems to be volunteering for the lazy. Jack is definitely the most active, and yeah, I won't point to anyone specifically as being the most lazy, but I will say that Jack is the driving force behind everything that we do.
I would
I'm
say
addicted.
it's not that I'm lazy, but that my life is a little chaotic. So they have to be kind of patient with me. Sorry. I guess this is part of hiring someone who's like a lot younger, maybe.
It's all right.
The whole team showed up tonight.
That's
so
right.
that counts. That counts.
That's a good point.
Michelle, Kevin, Jack, it's so chill. I listen to you on YouTube because I still need subtitles to understand you. So who speaks the fastest? Oh, Kevin, you lost that title.
I think if we had a competition, it might be interesting. But I do my best to stay slow, because I know, having taught English for a very long time, I know that it can be difficult for people to understand very fast spoken English. So I try to slow down.
As teachers, sorry to cut you off. As teachers, we use the teacher talk.
Yeah.
Which is very different than how native speakers would talk to each other. what do you think about teacher talk? Do you think that's overused and not properly preparing students for actual native speaker conversation speeds? And
That's interesting. I would say for me, it's really hard when we're doing this right now because my teacher talk can't change. When I'm in the classroom, my teacher talk changes depending on the students that I have. Some students need more teacher talk, some less, and so I'm able to adjust.
but on a podcast,
Right.
you don't know who's listening. Well, every level's listening potentially.
I
I would
like
say
what you
that.
said. Sorry.
Go ahead, Jack.
Okay. I like what you said before, though, Robin, about kind of letting students experience what a real English conversation is going to feel like, because podcasting is a lot about, like, we have three hosts, but you are the fourth host. You're kind of like a fly on the wall observing this English conversation. That's what I like about listening to podcasts personally, is that I feel like I'm part of the conversation. Even though I'm not physically there, it feels like I am. And so I don't teacher talk, but apparently my natural speaking voice is really slow because I haven't slowed myself down at all for any of the podcasts, but I never get a complaint about speaking too fast. So it's very interesting. I'm not sure, but Socha, what do you think about that?
I think Jack has a really great natural speaking pattern and good diction, and then Kevin is really conscious of this too and does a good job. I'm definitely the one who has to work on speaking slowly because right now I'm trying to speak slowly. It's really hard.
I'm sure my audience appreciates it.
There's a direct shoot between my brain and my mouth and it goes fast. So it's really hard for me to slow down. I grew up bilingual as well, and Spanish speakers speak really quickly. So I think that's one thing that kind of is a detriment to me. But I'm trying to speak more slowly. But I think what Jack said is true. I actually never used to use teacher talk in the classroom because I taught younger students, and I noticed that they were able to pick up on a native pace quickly. So I just spoke at a native pace and they could understand me just fine. But with adults who sometimes they need a little more, I think also their mind just you get confused or overwhelmed as an adult more in a way. Kids are just used to being constantly stimulated. So
It just
Okay.
takes practice
that's a
to
good point.
slow down.
yeah.
Alyssa, how is a podcast different from educational videos like on YouTube? Is a podcast more on audio than visual? Uh, there's no visual to a podcast.
Yeah.
Do you put your podcasts on YouTube?
I do upload them, but there's just basically a photograph on the back screen. We've been trying to transition to maybe a video version of the podcast, but it really is a a platform for listening. Like, that's what a podcast is in its essence. So we haven't put a lot of our effort into the visual. So we do put it on YouTube because some people like to listen to it there, but that's not really how it's supposed to be consumed. It's more of a listening thing. I
But
don't know
that
if you guys
also,
would agree.
Jack, is why we have those PDFs to help as well. So if you want, you can just listen. But if you want something a little bit more, then on our webpage, linked on all of our episodes, of course, there's a PDF that has some questions and a computer generated transcript and things that can be the visual if you need it, if you want it, but you don't need it.
True. That's right.
And Pallavi asked, teachers, do you all like listening to the podcast every day? Well, they make their podcast. I will say, do you listen to other podcasts? Don't promote them. Just
I have a pretty steady diet of maybe 10 or 15 podcasts that I listen to regularly. And so I do a lot of podcast listening for sure.
I do some, not quite as much as Jack, but I listen to a few. It takes me about 1 hour to go from home to the university where I teach. And so that's a great time to listen to podcasts. I'm just sitting on the bus or sitting on the subway, and I could just be looking at my phone, looking at memes on the internet, but instead I like to listen to educational podcasts. And so that's when I do my podcasting.
I listen to a couple of podcasts, but I think that with my generation, we tend to like visual podcasts. Like we watch them live recorded on YouTube, and everyone's kind of sitting around, and there's a visual component to the podcast that they like pull up videos and things like that. So yeah, but I do listen to a couple podcasts.
All right. So all of you do listen to podcasts. You're not learning English. You just enjoy that medium.
Yep.
But
my favorite is still the A to Z English podcast.
Of course.
Yeah.
We listen to them multiple times a week. Alyssa is asking, are your podcasts live or pre-recorded?
Pre-recorded.
Yeah, we don't do. We did do a couple live streams in the beginning. We've taken a step back to offer just another podcast episode per week instead of a live stream. But it's pre-recorded and edited, and music is added and things like that.
So I will add that even though it's pre-recorded, it's a very live style of speaking. We don't have a script that we just follow exactly. So right now, us speaking is not much different from the podcast itself. Just you can listen anytime you want.
I think both, we got a couple comments saying both I and Kevin are speaking quickly. We need to learn from Jack. I don't know how Jack.
Mine's just genetically. Yeah, I'm not doing anything.
Genetically superior.
I'm just a turtle, apparently. Yeah.
I was born in New York, and New Yorkers speak quickly.
Oh, I was born in the Midwest, so there you go. That's it. I'm a farm boy.
I was born in the Midwest too, but and I also grew up in Kentucky, so I should have like a slow accent. But
what happened?
Yeah, you should have a southern drawl. Yeah.
And I'm from Canada. Which,
Right.
whatever that means.
Yeah.
Whatever that means. All right. So Layla's asking, and do you listen to your podcast? Do you ever go back and listen again to your podcast?
I listened to some of the podcasts from before I joined the group. I used to really enjoy their podcast, The Soul Patch, and it's just nice to listen to them chit chat about different things. I feel like Kevin and Jack are really interesting. They have a lot of life experience and a lot of experience teaching, a lot of experience living abroad. So for me, it was always really interesting to get some insight. And before I moved to Korea, I really enjoyed listening to their podcast because their take on the culture was interesting to me. I felt like it was a lot more diverse than the typical superficial kind of K-pop type things that you might usually see. So yeah, I enjoyed that.
Oh, well, thank you. That's very nice of you.
All right, let's wrap it up here. So what's the name of your podcast?
Guys?
A to Z English podcast.
Yep. From the beginning to the end.
You gotta rehearse that a little more.
Yeah, the A to Z English podcast.
Okay, and there's links below this video to check them out. It is certainly an excellent way to improve your English listening and learn all kinds of different things about the English language. And of course, we have 3 wonderful hosts.
There you go. That confirms it.
You have 2 wonderful hosts. Who's making noise?
Sorry,
that was you. Okay. Thank you for coming on the live stream today. And
thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
It's good to see you.
Anytime.
I think a lot of my audience is going to be in shock. There's 4 native speakers chatting here with different accents and levels, but thanks a lot. So again, links below. Check them out and join the WhatsApp group, and you can talk to them directly.
Yeah. Come
Right,
come
and
chat
give
with
your
us anytime.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm gonna kick you out.
All right. Have a
All
good
right.
night.
So
Thanks,
thanks
Robin.
for coming.
Nice.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
All right, everyone. Wow, we had a lot of interviews today. I'm going to go back to the IELTS questions. If anyone has any IELTS questions, I can answer the IELTS questions here if Harry's here. Is there any certain point that says we are ready to take an IELTS test? We know that the IELTS test is not cheap, so we definitely don't want to spend money for nothing. Thank you so much. Well, Harry, the IELTS test is checking your level. So if you know, there is no pass or fail on the test. It's just checking your level. So if you need the test for something, then probably you might need, you know, whatever you need it for, immigration, a job, or going to university. The IELTS test, usually you might need a IELTS 6.5, 7.5, in that range. The top score is band 9. If you do not need the IELTS test, you could still study the IELTS. It helps your English, great. But if you are trying to get a score, you will kind of know your level through a practice test, things like that. But don't think of it as a pass or fail test, because if you get IELTS 4, that's great. That doesn't mean a fail. Tadashi, can I get a scholarship for my study by giving IELTS exam? There are scholarship opportunities around the world. I don't have the details now, but of course, the better your IELTS score, the better opportunities you'll have. Poonam, sir, how can I correct my pronunciation skills? A lot of people think they have terrible pronunciation. They self-diagnose themselves as having terrible pronunciation. But actually, I find that a lot of people's pronunciation is fine. It's great. I can understand every word they say. So if you do have a serious pronunciation problem, then there's things like shadowing, or, you know, mimicking, watching a movie and mimicking your favorite actor speaking. But for the most part, rarely do I meet someone who has a really severe pronunciation problem. A lot of people just don't have confidence. So I would say to you, Poonam, I'm pretty sure your pronunciation is better than you think. All right, I'm going down here. If you got any questions, the grammar detective, can you come on? Can you come on to the live stream? Let me know, grammar detective. Robin, this interview was too short. Could I know why? Well, you know, we can't always have 1-hour interviews with James. Tailunby, I want to know how to improve my English skills. Study every day, get active. We have a WhatsApp group. We have many channels. We're always here. We're always around to help students. But students don't take advantage of all the opportunities we are giving them for free. We are giving a lot of great opportunities in the WhatsApp group and other YouTube videos to help students. And they don't take that. They don't take that. I don't know why. They just keep jumping around the internet looking for the easy way. You're never going to learn English. You got to focus. There's a lot of great teachers in our WhatsApp group. Akash, whatever they talk, it's just 20 minutes. Might it take 2 days for me? They're so fast speakers. Yes, they were. That's the level you need to get to if you're going to America or the UK or another English speaking country. What is the best way to get rid of spelling mistakes when we write by hand, not typing on the keyboard? Um, that's a tough one, Sleepwalker, because everyone, even native speakers, have terrible spelling these days. Even me. It's just practice writing. If we have an electronic device that they have autocorrect, or they'll show us a mistake. But if you're writing by hand, yeah, you need to keep writing by hand. Keep a diary and keep writing by hand, so you learn the proper spelling. Experience. I'm wondering who is the grammar detective. I will bring on the grammar detective maybe next week or today if he's around. The grammar detective is another teacher in the WhatsApp groups. He's not in the same group as you, May, but he is in the other group. Dayreli Pena Ramirez. I know a lot of things in English, but I'm afraid to speak. I don't know why are you afraid? I'm always sad because students are shy or scared to speak. Don't be scared. Is not necessary to read different types of topics, even if I don't enjoy some of them. Well, if you're going to take the IELTS test, you got to be exposed to all kinds of topics. If you're just learning English, focus on the topics that you love. Teachers, a good idea to think, how do I sound more like an English native speaker? What do you think? Again, you don't need to sound like a native English speaker. Like if you're not going to America and you're not going to UK, you can become fluent in English, but you don't sound like me. You can have your regional pronunciation or accent. That's fine. You don't have to sound like the people in your favorite Hollywood movie. So, Pallavi, I think, everyone wants to sound exactly like an American and understand American culture. And I'm like, no, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. Robert, do you have beautiful handwriting? Printing. How can I describe printing? No, but my cursive, when I'm connecting the letters, looks okay. Have you taught IELTS for Students 101? Yes, I have extensive experience teaching IELTS 1-to-1, extensive experience teaching TOEFL 1-to-1, Alt OPIC 1-to-1, TOEIC 1-to-1. I have taught every test 1-to-1. I used to do a lot of tutoring to business people, students, lots of experience. Can we use, Liz is just asking a general English question. Can we use the phrase having said that or that being said in essays? No, those are speaking expressions. No, those are informal. You cannot use those in essays. Yeah, I will. Hey, folks, Mike, can you come on? If you join the StreamYard, I'll bring you on if you have time. I'm just checking the older questions I might have missed. Teacher, is it possible to learn English in 3 months? No. If you're starting from zero and you want to be fluent, no. But Pallavi, you already know English, so English is it depends. If you're living in an English speaking country, yeah, you can improve very fast. And of course, age matters. So if you're teaching children English for 3 months, they will have a lot of gains. If you're teaching someone over 40 in 3 months, they might not have as much improvement as a kid For you, Pallavi, you're still young, Pallavi. You can learn a lot in 3 months. You can learn a lot in 3 months. Teacher, you're not seeing. I just answered your question, Pallavi. Pallavi, you have to realize that I skipped over many people's questions, not just yours. Please do an interview with Mike soon. Well, I offered him. I'll do that. Maybe with Mike. Maybe next week I'll do Mike and the grammar detective if he's available. We'll bring them on. All right, I'll end this stream in 2 minutes. So get any last final comments in. And it's quite a quick, active stream with James coming in and then the A to Z podcast team, the English podcast. Do you think if a person is old, it is easier to study IELTS? Well, is this an English question? Mike, you can just join. All right, let's bring in Mike. You can just join the stream here, Mike. You don't have the... I'll send Mike a link. Mike, you better be entertaining. I sent you a link, Mike. We'll give him a couple minutes to see if Mike comes in. Robin, are your students often dissatisfied with marks which you gave them? Not often. Of course, there are some students that don't like the mic or don't like the marks I gave them. All right, Mike's not coming. Boo. Mike teased us. All right. I can't imagine how can interview 4 teachers in less than an hour. Hello, teacher. Hello. Cash next time with Mike. All right, we'll end it. If Mike's not coming, 3, 2, 1. Thank you, everyone, for watching today. If you're not a member, please join. And at least the WhatsApp group below, come say hello to all the teachers. We're working every day to help you. Would like to see you there. And I will be back next week on my other channel. Mike's. Oh, geez. You showed up.
I didn't even get a chance to clean up my desk area or anything. It's whatever right now. What's up?
The live stream is over. This is casual. We're still live, but this is casual chat. They're still
we're just
watching.
casually chatting.
Yeah, we had a few interviews today, and now you're the bonus highlight of the live stream. How you doing? Who are you? Introduce yourself in case someone doesn't know.
I am an English teacher online as well, a YouTuber. I am Robin's friend. I don't say we're friends. I'll say Robin's friend, and my name is Mike. And
Mike is my best friend.
What's So good to see you. So good to see you. Hope everybody's having a good night. Hope you're having a good night, Robin. I hope all of you are having a good night.
Yeah, Mike and I both live in Korea, and you are a teacher with Mike's English Lab.
That's right.
But how long have you been an English teacher?
I've been in education now for,
Or
let me see,
education.
I would say, because I've taught so much, I would say in teaching, 12 years. 12 years now.
12 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how long have you been teaching just English out of that 12 years?
Out of that 12 years, just English, I would say maybe 4 months.
Just English. So you've always been teaching some
Mhm.
content in English
Right.
to students that are not maybe their first language is not English.
Right. So I've always, so I've taught students who were learning English for a while, but just in particular English, only a couple months.
Layla asks, how long have you met each other and how? Well, I knew about Mike longer because Mike had another YouTube channel
Mm-hmm.
and he used to do live streams there where he would talk about many topics. And I would visit him sometimes, but he didn't know who I was. I was just some random guy.
I had no idea.
And then I was filming at a studio in Seoul, and the studio boss, Xander, he recommended Mike as a teacher. And I thought, yeah, Mike would make a great teacher, or Mike is a great teacher. So I brought him in to make some videos for me. And you look young. Who are you talking about? I'll
They're talking
take
about
that
you.
one. I'll take
Talking
that
about you.
one.
Talking about you. They're talking about you, Robin.
Mike,
Young
what was your
man.
hardest thing about your first year as a teacher in Korea?
My hardest thing about my first year in Korea was getting used to actually no, this is probably one of the best things was parents were very eager for their kids to learn versus back in the US, like education is not as important. But I would say maybe the hardest thing was the language, probably language barrier, because I teach in Korea. So a lot of my parents are Korean. And so it's hard to communicate sometimes with parents. Also with some of the students, we have language barrier as well. That was probably the hardest thing for me. It's just a place to hold my pencil.
Yes, he is an architect in the daytime.
Yes, I'm building
Nighttime
lives.
English teacher.
I'm building your English. I'm architect.
Alyssa, Mike, Robin said you kind of look like Eddie Murphy.
Sorry, I shouldn't do my Eddie Murphy impersonation.
I don't. Did I say that ever? I'm not sure if I said that.
If he did, that's pretty funny.
Maybe
Now
because
I'm gonna start saying Eddie Murphy lines now.
what are the pros and cons of being in Korea so far?
Oh, cons. I'll say cons first. Cons about
You're on the record. You're on the record.
Cons being far away from family.
Mhm.
Being far away from family. Also, differences in the law. Understanding the law. Just some things that like I don't agree with in Korea versus things back in the States. As well as sometimes language barrier. Good things, I feel safe. It's pretty safe here. No guns. Low crime rate. At least I don't know about white collar crime, but anyway, I digress. What else is good? I like the food. That's a pro. And Korea is a good place to travel to places in East Asia. And now that now that a lot of places are opening up for travel, it's easy to go.
May says, I love Mike's videos with funny sound effect. Do you have funny sound effects in your videos?
I do. In my videos, I always use Nintendo sound effects. I always use Nintendo. I love it.
I'll just
Thank you,
post
Mayfong.
Mike's English Lab. That's his YouTube channel, where you can listen to funny sound effects
All the time.
as you learn English. Are you married? I am not married.
I am.
Mike, I notice you keep a very late schedule. You are a night owl, is that correct?
I am. And now that I've switched to doing content all the time, I stay up much later.
So doesn't that disrupt your wife's sleeping habits if you're
No.
busy in the other room making
Not one
videos?
bit. Not one bit.
Or
So-
perhaps that's preferred.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, late at night, I'm always editing. And during the day, I shoot because late at night, I don't have the energy to shoot a video. So I've tried it before. I don't have the energy late at night, and you can see it on camera. So that's why I'll shoot during the day when I have the energy, and then edit at night.
Do you have a lot of outside noise leaking in to your
When I
studio
shoot,
there? Yeah. Like
I
neighbors
don't.
or motorcycles?
I don't.
You're at a quiet place.
Yeah, I think it's also because I'm in the center of my apartment complex, and so we're further away from the road, so not as much dealing with cars. But then also, I guess with the microphones I use as well, they're pretty solid mics.
And what floor do you live on?
21st.
21st floor.
Mm-hmm.
And what's your address?
It's is are you looking it up?
Have you ever
I've
felt
never
like
felt-
an alien? Well, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to speak for Mike too. We
Go
are
ahead.
aliens. We are aliens here, and we are not fully assimilated, or we do stick out in crowds, and people do still stare or treat us differently. Koreans are, there's still not so many foreigners here.
Right. That is correct. So yeah, we still stick out all the time.
Mike, do all your students love you so much?
I think they kind of like me. Sort of, kind of. But
Why would they not like you?
it's really funny. Whenever I have to become strict, they're very surprised. But most of the time, I'm just very just however I am with you all, that's how I am in the classroom too. I act the same way.
Can you turn on strict Mike right now?
I don't. Let me see if I can. Let's try this. Let's see.
What's a trigger for you to?
When kids talk at the same time as me, that's my trigger.
When people are talking at the same time, talk.
It's when.
And what are you? Shut up, you little.
It is a lot of time. Hey, sometimes you guys say, "Look, I need you to shut up," and then it gets like, "Oh, he's serious." Yeah, I'm pretty serious. Stop talking. What is the best job?
Yes, please, Donkey. That's a nice boulder, I guess, because Eddie Murphy played Donkey in Shrek.
So I started to talk like Donkey. I hate to do it because I have to go all in if I talk like Donkey. Oh.
I can't imagine that Mike is straight. Oh wait,
I can't do it.
I can't do Shrek, so it's not a good team here.
Donkey, no, it's not Donkey. I can do it. It takes me a second. Donkey. Yeah, it's a really bad Scottish accent. Shrek.
Do you know about the Meghalaya, India weather? That's quite a odd question. We don't know about the weather. Is something happening there?
No, I have no idea.
Why would it just? All right, we'll finish up. Mike, thanks for coming.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for squeezing me in.
You
randomly.
saved the live stream. It was so dull until you came. Why don't you invite me on your live streams?
You come anyway.
We should, that's a good idea. We should play a game on your live stream. That
We should.
some sort of challenge. Maybe the students could do something to figure out who's the coolest guy.
We can do some kind of quiz or some kind of like mini game show with us.
After this live stream, what are you going to do?
Well, I was going to make probably 1 or 2 more videos about countries that I left out, and then how to say them in English. And then, and I think probably I'm going to try and shoot maybe 1 or 2 more shorts. I'm going to try and do, before I sleep, I want to do 2 to 4 more shorts. And then tomorrow, I want to film some longer videos. And then I have to plan for the live stream tomorrow because I'm trying to go back to doing live streams.
Do you have a live stream tomorrow? You're doing it twice a week?
I'm trying to do it twice a week. It's easier on Wednesdays, just do 1, but I'm trying to stay consistent with 2. So, because I was doing 2 before.
Yeah.
Wait, do you have one tomorrow?
I for my daily English homework, I do a random one. But if you're doing one, usually I do if you're doing one, I won't do one. Just let me know.
Yeah, I'll let you know. But you can plan on doing one because Wednesday is my posted day that I always do live streams on Wednesday. So, but we can talk. I'll message you. I try to be consistent, but doing 2 times a week when I'm also doing videos daily it's punishment.
It's hard. It's everyone. YouTube is hard.
Mm-hmm.
It is a daily struggle. It's very frustrating, and we do feel your love, but it's not enough. You got to give us more love. See, Pallavi, 1 smiley face, 1 heart. That's not enough, Pallavi. That's not enough. At least 2 smiley faces and a heart.
That'd be good. What's up, Harry?
Sleepwalker, 3 hands, or not even to us.
Do a spelling bee.
They're talking to each other. All right. Thanks a lot, Mike.
Thank you, friend.
I'm going to kick you out now. Thanks for coming.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. I'm going to end the live stream. Thanks for watching. We had a lot of people here. Wow. That's the busiest live stream I've ever done. Anyway, thanks to everyone who came on today. Okay. And everyone who's watching. So bye.